So hi everybody, and this is the final presentation of the parts, of the racing parts I casted about the Lancia Esagamma E, where the last E means Europa, and it was a Lancia truck produced until 1964. After that, Fiat overtook the Lancia production and everything was shut down because Fiat has his own veicoli commerciali trucks line, and this was a direct concurrent of their range. So of course this was completely shut down. For me, it's one of the nicest Italian truck that ever have been created. It's so particular with this type of frames on the door, with the typical logo shield. Lancia is famous for the Delta, for the rally and racing car, but Lancia has an incredible history of quality in Italian vehicles, both cars and commercial vehicles. Lancia was a kind of Italian Mercedes, and if it was not for the ideas that the Fiat Group had with them, it should be still today one of the best producer ever of cars. It was really an excellence we had in Italy. And nowadays they are in trouble, but I really hope that something can happen in that something happen and they can restart to be the great company they always have been. This truck for me is one of the nicest ever. This is my last production. I have partially built the parts that you can find in the kit, because the front bumper is of course separated in the part that you will get, and all the minor details can be easily fixed. This is anyway one of the first shot, and it's very interesting because in this model I wanted to have an even major cooperation with my friend Andrea from KMP Production. He is extremely skilled 3D designer. He had some issues recently with personal life or moving and a new location and so on, but he was very skilled and fixed everything incredibly well. This time we didn't have any timing problem during the production of the part, and I really wanted to have his front grille to be used over my truck. Note, for example, he had to make this design without the part because the part was already on the casting process, and it was incredible that the part fits without any touch directly this way, as you can see here. There. No filler at all, no sanding, nothing at all. The part is completely perfect for the hole that I created. So it was absolutely incredible what we were able to do here, because as you can see, part fits perfect. So, and is also completely open and transparent, so inside you can place whatever you want. The tunnel here in the cockpit, as usual, I suggest for this type of model to use something like that. These are all the AMT trucks. I really don't like the AMT quality because usually the parts are really old and not so well done, but it's very interesting because they provide anyway quite decent chassis with bolts over. It's basically type of chassis that you can adjust and maybe use for this type of truck. I will use it because I don't like at all this model, but this model have the boogie suspension style at the rear part, and because I would like really to produce this truck like a 6x4 with a double drive on the rear axles. I will love to use this part. Of course, I'm just talking about the suspension, the motor. If it don't feature a V8, I don't know about this, I still didn't check, because the Lancia Esagamma had only the 6-cylinder, so I should find something like that or buy a Kenworth. There is some stuff around made by MT with the 6-cylinder, and above all, there is no way to see that part when the model is complete. So this was not a truck where you can reverse the cabin and check the under motor. In this type of trucks, the overall maintenance was done opening this completely all this part, and the HS from the motor was taking away the front bone, and the motor come from the front of the truck outside for maintenance. So it's quite tricky. You don't see so much absolutely about this vehicle, so it's enough that you have something that is also just a 6-cylinder look-alike like that, or you can also make one. There is a lot of stuff around that you can use for this purpose in spare parts and leftovers. Of course, I will use for this build, I will start very soon the build of this model. I will use also my 3D wheels, the 3D tires that I made, even with the cooperation of Andrea, with the proper pattern and the Michelin X tire design. And the other part that you can find in my kit will be this dashboard and that steering wheel. This because I think that the steering wheel is not so easy to find usually around of the same dimension. I mean, many American trucks are quite different, like the Peterbilts and so on, have quite different sprocket inside the steering wheel, so you really cannot use that part, and sometimes it's a little bit boring to find around the proper steering wheel. So I found one that was absolutely suitable and cast in resin for the purpose. As well as you can find a small dash. Remember that all these tracks were all just right and drive, so this was just for the right and drive. I don't know neither if they have been used in other country with major modification, but surely there was a garage that was able to change the position from this side to the other side, so it depends from the reference that you had. Inside the parts you will also find this will be the part that you will get together with the kit and the steering wheel and the dash. And note that the part that I used on this grill that I used for the video here, it was a prototype because it already had molded together with the part the Lancia logo over the grill here. Instead, the part that you will get, we made it a little more simple for the modeler, because I think that it will be probably much more easy to paint the part if the Lancia logo is separately. I printed a lot of them, so I will place a couple of them. Unless you see a couple of them in the bags, means that I still have them, and when I will start to place only one, means that we are nearly done with it. Plus, you see the logo Esagamma E, also that is printed in 3D. Inside the box you will also find the ESA Delta C, that is the other writing down there, but the ESA Delta C was indeed a very similar track, but a completely different track, because it was a difference exactly like if you take the Chinese 6, the Mustachi Buffo previous tracks that I made. It was similar to this, but it was overall a 20% smaller than this version of the Esagamma E. The Esagamma was the super heavyweight. The ESA Delta C was the middleweight, so it was a smaller track. In picture, if you search in Google for ESA Delta C, you will see that they look quite identical, but if you look closely at the picture, there is a very big difference, because this is much bigger track. So you can basically use the same 3D part, because the front grille, the logo Lancia, and the writings were exactly this one, but all the cab became like if it is in the sky, like 1 to 3 compared to this one. So you basically have to rework completely all the cab to do a completely correct Lancia ESA Delta C. So the model is referred anyway to an Esagamma E 1964, so is referred to that. That is just a plus that I wanted to add, kind of gift for the guys that want to try this type of assembly and mounting. Always remember that together with my truck you will also get my personal folder with all the pictures, the drawings, the documentation, and the measures to do all the version that you want, providing all the picture for the interior parts and all the picture for the lower chassis, the internal part, the motor of course, because also that was the proper documentation and so on. So I absolutely suggest this truck if you really have an interest for Italian mighty vehicles and workhorse from the 60s and the 70s. For this type of models were famous because also for the driver they were considered some of the best we ever had in Italy, and the luxury level, the finishment that they had was absolutely superior to the Fiat. Lancia was, as I said, a kind of Italian Mercedes, so expect something like that in the quality of the vehicle. That's it. I hope that you like it like I do. I absolutely love this vehicle. In the model, of course, also this is just reinforcement part for the moldings that you can send it away. It will be not so difficult with the Dremel to keep it completely clean. I will not do it because it's not a problem for me, but I see that if I take these parts away and I have to post the model worldwide, several of this one also reached New Zealand, to have an idea, probably during the transport it will be possible, even if it didn't happen still, to have wrinkled parts for the difference of temperature during the transport of the goods to your place. So you know that all these parts, including this bar, have to be taken away. But once again, when you will study the picture, I think there will be no problem for you to make a great model with this type of part. And for everything, always remember that I'm available to any clarification and any explanation for everything that you need during your build. So do not hesitate to contact me and ask me absolutely whatever you want for the part. That's it. This is my Esagamma E. I hope you like it like I do. I absolutely love it, and very soon I will start to make my own version. I still didn't decide what to do. There is several versions that I like it so much. I want to find something 6x4, as I said, taking the part from the white, and that's it. I absolutely love this guy. See you in the next one. Thank you for watching.